Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Andrea, Dave?
Yes, we
someone?
can.
Hello? Okay, I see you can hear me. So can someone from the team speak to see if I can hear them?
Can you hear me, Alicia? Can you hear me well?
No? Okay, well, I will. Okay, so yeah, I think
from the chat they're saying that they can hear me.
We have a few more people joining, and I see that we already have attendees. So yeah, it will be better to start, I would say. So okay, so welcome everyone to this community call. We have a few more panelists and team members joining in a little while, but I will start with the introduction. So thanks everyone for joining us, for joining this pNetwork community call. So in the call, there's myself along with other members of the team that are slowly coming. I am, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alice, and I take care of growing the pNetwork ecosystem. So I work with third-party projects and other blockchains and networks with the goal of expanding the pTokens project and making it better and better every day. So just a brief introduction about pNetwork for those of you who are new to the project, as well as you know, a recap of all the news, of all the recent news that we had, and all of the updates that we had in the past couple of weeks and months. So first of all, let me start with an introduction. So pNetwork is a cross-chain composability system that enables assets and data to move across multiple blockchains. As you may know, blockchains are natively, you know, siloed within their own ecosystem, meaning that blockchains, meaning that assets and dApps on one ecosystem are only available there and cannot really connect with the dApps and assets on other ecosystems. So one clear example of this is Bitcoin on Ethereum. So as you know, Bitcoin cannot natively, you know, move to Ethereum. That's why there are solutions such as pNetwork that make it possible for Bitcoin to be available on Ethereum as a tokenized asset. Specifically, pNetwork makes it available with a one-to-one peg so that anyone at any time is always able to get 1 Bitcoin back for 1 p-tokenized Bitcoin. One clear and very happy update is the fact that we do have a growing number of cross-chain connections, and that's positive for the ecosystem as well as you know, the pNetwork community, since this means more and more volumes and total value locked within the system. At the moment, we do have connections across 10 different blockchains, actually 9 plus 1 that is not yet announced, but it's live. And this includes major blockchains that you know, may come to mind. So we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have the Binance Smart Chain, and many, we have Dogecoin and many others. So yeah, And we, along with this, we do have integrations with a variety of projects across all of these networks. One notable project that we have recently integrated with is PancakeSwap. So PancakeSwap, for those of you who don't know that, it's it's similar to Uniswap, but on the Binance Smart Chain. So that's a decentralized DEX, a decentralized exchange that enables assets to be exchanged in a decentralized fashion. And we do have an integration with PancakeSwap for PBTC, so for Bitcoin on Ethereum, for Bitcoin on the Binance Smart Chain. And there are nice incentives at the moment, so if you want to go check it out, you will find that on the PancakeSwap website. And another collaboration and integration that we have worked with along with many others is with the Chain Guardians. So Chain Guardians is a project focused on NFTs, and the collaboration with them has various steps. One of them is us bridging their CGG token across blockchains. Another one is connected to their NFTs tokens. And finally, another one is for them to join our network as a node operator. So this brings me to two main pieces of news that we have introduced in recent weeks. So the first one is that we have launched the pNetwork portals functionality. So this means that through pNetwork, right now, you can not only move assets across chains, but you can also move but smart contracts on multiple blockchains can now be connected and can interoperate as if they were on the same network. So this enables a few very interesting use cases, one of those being the NFTs portal. The NFTs portals we have recently launched, and it's the first use case of the pNetwork portals feature. And so the first NFT that we moved from Ethereum to the Binance Smart Chain was Sir Ether Blue Bunny by Rarebit Bunnies. So that was our example to show that NFTs can now move and be compatible. NFTs on Ethereum can be compatible with smart contracts on the Binance Smart Chain. So based on that, we will then expand and add more and more NFTs and other functionalities to the NFTs portals to enable more and more, cross-chain interactions between blockchains. Another great news that we have launched last week is the pTokens DApp version 2. So some of you may remember our previous, main interface for exchanging assets and moving them and swapping them cross-chain. So we now have released an improved version of that, which is the pTokens DApp version 2, and you can find that at dapp.ptokens.io. It has a much better UI, and I'm very happy about it. I was one of the testers, and I like it a lot. It's much easier to use compared to the previous one. So we are hoping that this will also contribute to improve the system and expand it even more. And finally, we have introduced a big update for our community as well. So a few months ago, we had introduced the pNetwork nodes, meaning that the cross-chain interactions are supported by a network of node operators. Well, starting this week, we have introduced the fee-earning pNetwork nodes. This means that nodes can now be rewarded for the key role they operate within the ecosystem. And so I'm very happy for more and more nodes to be joining. So we have Chain Guardian who joined as a node operator. I know that there's also a community initiative that's, I think we do have Jeremy here in the call, who organized this community initiative, which is basically a DAO on XDAI, that's whose scope is to set up a pNetwork node. So that's something that I'm personally encouraging for those of you who want to check it out. And in general, we have more people joining as node operators, since now there is an economic incentive for that. So on that note, before we move to a Q&A session for everyone to be able to ask questions to the team, and to give you a more detailed update on what's going on, I will, pass the mic to our team member Andrea, who did a very nice presentation, a very nice deck for prospective node operators to introduce them and share with them, what it actually means to be a pNetwork node operator. So, Andrea, the screen is yours.
Thank you for the introduction, Alicia. I'm just trying to share my screen, but I think I can't. I cannot share my screen actually.
Yeah, I think the host needs to give you permission. So
enable
1 second, let's see.
Yeah, by the way, happy to be here. My name is Andrea, and I will be helping the pNetwork with the all its initiative in the growth, integration with partnerships, integration with new projects, and the node growth. I just put together this presentation on the incentive structure for node operators, because of course, for pNetwork to reach its ultimate vision of this decentralized and trustless bridge between different blockchains, we need to give the proper economic incentive to nodes to support the network. So as soon as I can show you the deck, I will skim quickly through some of the rewards and economic incentive for the nodes. I still can share the presentation.
Yeah, I think they are checking 1 second because I'm not logged in with the correct account myself.
Okay.
Okay, you have been made the host, so you should be
I'm the host now. Yeah. Just give me a sec. Now you guys should see the presentation, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So I just skimmed very quickly through the first bunch of slides. I'm sure everybody here knows what a node operator is, but just to remind that this is an essential component of the pNetwork because they enable the cross-chain composability Alicia was talking about. They help securing the network by checking that no tampering is occurring. And of course, they help achieving the progressive decentralization vision that we were talking about. Some of the key figures of the pNetwork are about 50 million total value locked. Now is slightly lower due to the recent market sell-off, but is still in the realm of 50 million. We have achieved 100 million in cross-chain volume over the last 30 days. And I'm talking about peg-in and peg-outs here. And we currently have about, we currently have 10 node operators, this is the actual data, that are starting receiving rewards since the last Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. What are the rewards? Again, just as a reminder, the current rewards from fees are 25 basis points, so 0.25% on peg outs, while there are no fees on plugins. And this is meant to incentivize an increase in the total value locked. Portals, which has been implemented, allows the transferring of metadata. So again, think NFTs between different blockchains, and those are have a 5 basis point fee, so 0.05% or $5, whichever is the highest. This is not fully functional yet, but it will be soonish. So it's another stack of incentive that will be applied. And this is on the peg-ins and peg-out. And then, of course, there are the staking rewards, which are currently 42% APY. This is a sort of a projection that I made. Is based on some assumption that I will go through. Is the monthly rewards for each individual node today, in 6 months, and in 12 months. So today, a node can expect to earn about slightly more than $10,000 on the bridge fee alone. The blue column is the bridge fee. The red column is the fees from staking rewards. So the big assumption here is that the PNT price is going to remain stable. But I also highlight the amount in PNT, like just above the red column. And then the other assumptions that are being made here is that the node count is going to double in 6 months and triple in 12 months. And also that the volume is going to increase threefold in 6 months and sixfold in 12 months. The red line is just the monthly ROI, taking into account an initial purchase of the PNT token. So here I try instead, speaking about the initial purchase of the token, I try to break down what are the costs the one may incur. Although the one-off token purchase is not really a cost, because you of course get to retain this token. It's more akin an asset than a cost. But you know, if you want to try to have this sort of cash flow statement, let's call it, you can estimate the cumulative cash flow in 1 year based on this assumption. Of course, this presentation is available if you're interested. And the one-off token purchase, the server-related annual expenses, which are in the realm of the few $1,000s, brings to a net cash flow of $90,000, and total asset, say total asset, cumulative asset in held that are 240,000. And this is just more visually clear here. So what's the difference between this chart and this one? This is the monthly rewards per node. This is the cumulative assets per node. So of course, at the beginning, as a node supporting the network, you can expect to have the biggest chunk of your asset in the PNT token. But you see that in 12 months, like the amount of fee and staking rewards start becoming really interesting. And I also try to highlight 3 different scenarios. So don't be mistaken, the color bands here are the time period. The conservative case is the bar on the left, while the aggressive scenario is the bar on the right. Again, here price is kept stable. So the price of PNT token is kept stable through the whole simulation, but you get to see that conservative fee. So conservative here means we thought that volume can increase by a factor of 2 in 12 months, while the aggressive case, fees are increasing by are increasing by a factor of 10. And you can have a look of what's your perspective asset by these 3 different scenarios. Fees are, of course, like temporarily set by governance, but they can always change in the future. Of course, there will need to be a discussion, and then the team can set a voting governance proposal on the DAO. So just to say that the current incentive structure can change as well. And what do you need to start a node? You need currently 200,000 PNT, and to set up your own server. We're really happy to see that there are community-owned initiative to spin up this pooled staking module for people that have a lower amount of PNT to participate, although in a custodial way, but to participate in the staking initiative. But if you want to spin up your own node, these are the requirements. And of course, you can check out the docs or just reach out to us. I'm sure all of you are already in the Telegram group, or just reach out to us. And I think I'm done.
Excellent. Thanks.
Clear.
Yeah, thanks,
if you have any questions.
Yeah, if anyone has questions for Andrea, this is a good time to ask. I think the presentation was very clear, but if anyone wants to dive deeper in some of those topics, I'm sure Andrea will be happy to take questions.
Of course.
1 second, because we have 3 channels. This time we have tried to replicate the same community call on 3 different channels. So one is on Zoom, one is on Telegram voice chat, and the other one is live on YouTube. So it's a bit diluted because there are people on the 3 different channels, and people are asking questions. We need to check all the 3 channels. There doesn't seem to be any question for now. So I would say let's move forward, and then if someone has questions, you can keep writing them on Telegram, here on the Zoom chat, or on the YouTube chat, and we will collect them and answer towards the end of the call. So in the meantime, thanks Andrea again for the presentation, and yeah, let's move to the next part. So before taking questions, I will I wanted to share some of the things we're working on that will be released in the coming days and weeks. And I've taken some notes not to forget, because there are many. And actually, we were about to improve pNetwork.watch with some additional data. So pNetwork.watch, for those of you who don't know, is a new website we have recently released, which is useful to monitor data around nodes profitability, pNetwork usage, and things like that. And if I remember correctly, there was a screenshot on the second slide or third, on one of the very first slides of Andrea's presentation, taken from that portal, from that website. And we are adding more data, and such as the number of peg-ins and peg-outs, so of operations moving value or data across chain, and counting them. It's quite impressive to see that now we are above 330,000 operations processed by the network, and but this is growing really fast. If you check the chart, you can see that basically the growth has been quite exponential. So I would expect us to reach 1 million transactions shortly if we keep at that pace, which is amazing. So it's great to see that the people are starting to use it more and more on different platforms. And there is an increasing demand for it. So that's why we are doing our best to keep up with the demand for new integrations, also with new chains. And this is something on which we are constantly dedicating efforts to. So for instance, we are already integrated with Polygon, right? With Matic Polygon. And we have their bridge from EOS to Polygon. We are adding more bridges to Polygon, but also to the Binance Smart Chain, just to mention some extensions of integrations we already have. Something else we are doing is also integrating with brand new blockchains, meaning that blockchains on which the pNetwork is not really connected to. And some of these should sound quite familiar to you guys, because they are all, very popular. So there will be some announcements next week to mention some of those. So one thing we are doing is basically extending existing integrations and adding integrations with new blockchains. Something else we are doing is like extending the use of the NFT portals, which now are quite limited in scope. Like the existing NFT portal, as it was being mentioned earlier, is just working with a specific kind of NFT, which we use as a test NFT. But going forward, we will extend it, and as it was already announced, we will use it for Chain Guardians NFTs, and this is something on which we are actively working on that will be released in just a few days. There are also other NFT projects that are willing, that are interested to use the NFT bridge. So other integrations with other NFTs will also follow, and this will all be available from the new DApp that Alice was referring to earlier. And this new DApp will integrate both the NFT, cross-chain swap, cross-chain bridge, and the one for assets that you can already see now. Something else on which we're working on is like new use cases for portals, and one that I'm really excited about because I think it will be quite a game changer is the one for distributing DAO, such as the pNetwork DAO, across different blockchains. So as you have seen with Pyrion done by Jeremy, that is here on the call, and it's possible to have more pNetwork related DAOs on different blockchains. Like in his case, this is a community-driven DAO created on XDAI, right? So this is not directly connected with the pNetwork DAO just yet, because there is no easy way to do it. But the support of metadata we have recently added makes it possible to potentially connect the two. And something we will do ourselves natively within our own DAO, the pNetwork DAO, is basically splitting it across different blockchains, so that, for example, you can stake as a node to become a node operator, or to just participate to voting straight from your blockchain of choice, which may not be Ethereum. So say you are an EOS user, or you are operating on BSC, for instance, you could have your own local pNetwork DAO that you would use to interact with the wider pNetwork ecosystem. And this will maybe possibly still use Ethereum for the treasury of the DAO, but maybe voting could be allowed from different blockchains. And this concept of a cross-chain DAO is something made possible by portals, so by the use of this metadata that we have recently supported, which really is a game changer. And I think a lot of users are not understanding this just yet, because it's not very visible as the implications it enables. But on the new use cases that are made possible by the existence of this feature. But what seeing like different applications makes it easier to understand the concept. So the NFT bridge is just one of those. The cross-chain DAO will be another one, and there will be many others coming in the future. So this is something on which we are actively working on, for example, with the use case of the cross-chain DAO, but also the community we know is working on using this pNetwork portals and support for metadata to create complex cross-chain applications. And while technically speaking, the way it works may sound or even be complex in a way, the end user doesn't need to know or see all this complexity. They will just be able, from the blockchain of preference of choice, to just operate without leaving. Right now, most users need to be on BSC, on Polygon, on Ethereum, on EOS, just to participate to the different opportunities offered by DeFi and by the other use cases. Once portals is widely used, you will just be able to stay on the choice, on the blockchain you prefer, and then the pNetwork will make the rest. It will basically route your request across the network under the hood, and it will be completely invisible to you, unless, of course, you want to audit the system, in which case everything is completely transparent and auditable at any time. So these are just some of the things we are working on. There are many others that I'm not allowed to share yet, but there are many other things that are interconnected with the efforts of integrating new blockchains. and creating new portals. So there are many opportunities opened by these two, by being able to be the first movers in interconnecting, different blockchains to new ones. For example, let's pick, Avalanche, just to pick one. If we were to integrate with Avalanche, we would be the first ones having a cross-chain with Avalanche. So this opens up a whole new set of opportunities. And this means, using portals becomes more and more useful, and it's more likely that there will be volumes and adoption on those bridges. Adoption now is going quite well, considering the integration with BSC and the fact that there are many new users, that are using blockchains there. That said, there are also promising numbers, on Polygon and on other chains. So let's now pick up some questions maybe from the community. So I see there are already 2 or 3 questions. Yeah, I was hoping most questions would not have been about price, but unfortunately, this is what's driving today's discussions on social media as well. So, question from YouTube: do you think you will list on Coinbase or any other exchanges? So, as for listings on exchanges, we have made very good progress recently on some legal aspects that were sort of slowing down the procedure. But now we have started, working with several exchanges for listings. I cannot share the details. I mean, as you can easily understand, we are not allowed to discuss any ongoing, private conversation or deal that is being done with exchanges. But I can reassure you that it's in the best interest of everyone to ensure that PNT is widely available to different markets. For example, right now, getting PNTs from the US is quite challenging because you will need to do it from Uniswap, where there is not that much liquidity yet. But we are committed to facilitate, to lower the entry barrier for everyone, including US people, for instance, or also from other jurisdictions. So that said, it may even come as a direct, consequence of community initiatives. So, for example, if the Uniswap pool gets more liquidity, then automatically everyone will be able to access it, right? We, as you know, we are incentivizing that pool with 15,000 PNT per week. So if you are looking to get your first PNT, Uniswap is just very convenient. But if you want to invest heavily in the project, I know there are market makers and arbitrageurs that are basically keeping price aligned with centralized exchanges where there is most liquidity. But, I understand that if you want to buy a decent, a relevant amount of PNT, for example, to become a node operator, which is quite a serious investment now, you will need to, get them somewhere else. So this is something on which we're working on. Another comment on YouTube, which is sort of related, so I will pick that one first. I hope after this fall, so we recover fast, these improvements will attract more participants to us. Yeah, I mean, let's hope so. As usual, regardless of the price, we are doing our best, to continue developing the project and to follow market trends and to ensure that our growth keeps going. So this is completely unrelated from the price. We don't make these business decisions based on the PNT price. If the PNT price goes down, we keep working as usual, even harder. When it goes up, we keep working very hard to keep up with increased demand and with everything that is planned. So, yeah, I hope so. I hope the price will recover as well. And I think this is probably just a temporary market dump, just probably bouncing. But that said, I'm not a trader, and I'm the least person you should ask questions about speculation. So when people come to our chat asking those questions, they sort of made me laugh because my default answer will be that I'm the least person on this planet that you should ask trading advice to. Really, that's one reason why, you know, price discussions are not allowed also in the chat, because if they are typically not very you know, constructive. So there are, you know, trading channels that are dedicated to, you know, technical analysis or just general questions about prices, but the official ones want to stay focused on the project for different reasons, mostly to ensure the community that wants to focus on the project and on the project development can do it in a, you know, an environment which is not noisy and which is, you know, focused on just those topics. So there is another question which I think Alice may want to take, which is around the $5 minimum fee for the use with portals. Alice, do you want to discuss that?
Sure. So basically, when we introduced the pNetwork portals, we well, this was a decision that was not actually taken by the main development team. It was taken by the community. So this was a proposal in the pNetwork DAO when introducing the fees. So because at that point we already knew that new features would be added to pNetwork other than the cross-chain transfer of assets, which is P tokens. So one example of this is pNetwork portals. We decided to propose a fee model structure that included that aspect already. So to start with, we thought that including a small percentage on top of cross-chain transaction for assets would make sense, in the sense that when using pNetwork portals, because that is a feature built on top of P tokens bridges, you are basically using, it's like you are using the standard bridge plus an additional feature. So that's why it's built as a percentage on top. That said, this is useful when you have use cases that are, for example, DeFi related. So I don't know, in the case of market makers who want to arbitrage from between Uniswap and PancakeSwap, for example. So in that case, the percentage makes sense because it makes it possible for pNetwork to benefit proportionally to the volumes that are exchanged. That said, there's also cases where you're not really moving a lot of money around. One example of this is the NFTs portal. So with the NFTs portals, sure, you can, I mean, along with the NFT, you can also move assets, but maybe you don't. So in that case, we still wanted for pNetwork node operators to be able to benefit for the service they provide. So that's why we decided to introduce the $5 minimum. We don't know. We don't really know if this will stay the same, if this will go up or down. I would say that that was a test, an initial starting point, a starting point that we thought would make sense, but we will see with usage how people actually use pNetwork portals, and based on that we will see if it makes sense to, you know, keep it at $5, increase it, or decrease it. And ultimately that will not be our decision as main development team, but it will be the decision of our community and of our DAO members of pNetwork nodes. So these $5 things, as well as all other pNetwork fees, will be decided by the DAO. So it can change in the future. We don't know yet if up or down, and ultimately this will be up to the entire community.
Thanks, Alice. So I see there are another couple of questions. Two questions. These two questions are from Jeremy. So he's asking, what is the current timeline to extend the validation process to all nodes? So as for this was planned for Q3, if I'm not wrong, and we're working on it. But to be honest, this is a relatively low priority compared to the integrations of new chain, because it seems like many competitors of the pNetwork, like many alternative bridges, are equally or less secure than our current implementation, meaning that security or full decentralization, let's say, at this stage is not considered a priority by users. And while the market is growing so fast, it's very important that we keep up with the community expectation of growth, and that specifically we don't miss an opportunity. While, if we focus on security most of our efforts, then we will not have enough resources to integrate quickly enough new blockchains, which is something on which there seems to be more interest for. So this is surely important for us, but it's not a top priority at this stage for the reason I've just explained. So there are different security models, and there is a very wide spectrum between centralization and decentralization. So it's not that all decentralized systems are equal, and the current stage we are at ensures that funds are safe to a certain degree, which we are far from. So we don't really have a short-term security problem here, and we will ensure that the system security is always aligned with the amounts of funds the network is managing, and we are also, if needed, ready to potentially cap it to a certain degree so that it doesn't grow too fast. That said, we hope this will not be necessary, and at the current growth we have, we should be fine, because once the network is big enough, we should have reached the level of decentralization we want. That said, it's a path towards decentralization. It's not that it happens from one day to the other, and the fact of launching the pNetwork node at this stage in a dawn phase with nodes earning fees even while being non-validators is actually very useful, because it gives us data on how frequently those nodes update their nodes, if they can safely stay in sync with the network, because they still try, right? And we can collect feedback on compatibility, complexity of spinning it up, keeping it up to date, all these kind of things. And also it's mostly a matter, if you compare it with other solutions, it's also a matter of naming, right? I mean, in our case, marketing, if you want. In some cases, in our case, we distinguish between validating nodes and non-validating nodes. So by having this binary definition, you are sort of sending a message of the fact that non-validating nodes sort of miss something, right? There are other projects where they use a different naming, but for the exact same concept. And instead of calling them non-validating nodes, they call them witness nodes. So if you call them witness nodes, technically speaking, you are doing the same thing. So they are non-validating nodes that are just challenging the other nodes, observing the network, and trying to ensure that there is someone watching. So that's why they are called witness nodes. So we decided to call them non-validating nodes for now, just for clarity and for distinguishing them, but we may transition that name to something different. Obviously, the question of Jeremy is not about names. It's a question about security and progress in the progressive decentralization roadmap. So this is something on which we are continuously committed to. But what I'm saying here is that even going forward, once we reach that stage, there may still be the role of the witness nodes, right? So there may be a wider set of validating nodes. So maybe most of the non-validating nodes of today will transition and become validating, and it will be expected from them to do so. But a part of nodes may, there may be a third category of nodes, like, well, not a third category, but a second category, even when the current non-validating nodes become validating ones. There may still be a witness node type, and this is something that we are still actively discussing internally from a technical and security perspective, and on which we will look eventually for feedback from the community as well. There is another question from Jeremy. Maybe this one Andrea could take.
Yeah, I can pick that.
Yeah,
he's asking, and what is the current strategy to increase node operators in the network? The way I think about it is this is deeply linked with the amount of growth that we can show in the volume. So presentation like the one that I try to show today are part of the effort to display to nodes that they can earn real money by helping the network. And the amount of fees that they're earning is deeply linked with the amount of volume that is flowing through our bridge, right? So I think that increasing the number of integration, working with different projects, increasing the total value locked should all be beneficial to the ROI for nodes. And this is something that will, of course, show nodes that they can have a huge benefit of joining early, because of course, the lower the amount of nodes, the higher the rewards per node. So there's sort of a trade-off there where if you join early, you start accruing rewards like on a per node basis, which is higher, right? So I think like the short answer would be, it depends on the kind of growth that we can show in the following months in the volume that we transact, and the integration that we can make to make this happen.
Yeah, if I can add something to that, I mean, I completely agree with that. Just to add something, one element that is crucial for, you know, how to grow the network of node operators is the actual amount of PNT tokens required for a node to operate, which is the biggest investment a node operator needs to take. So at the moment, the amount is quite high, I would say. We had a vote in the pNetwork DAO to try and reduce that, which did not pass. So ultimately, as the main development team, what we do is, you know, try to work our best to increase the amount of node operators and to expand that. And what Andrea said, I completely agree, that is the strategy that we are implementing and is the way to go. At the same time, I think that this goes beyond the, you know, the main development team, and it's a community decision, in the sense that the community, as of now, decided to have a high entry barrier for new node operators. This means that reaching an amount of thousands of node operators would be, you know, really hard to achieve because of that. So that is, you know, a decision of the community. Should the community decide to, you know, reduce that amount, it means that the community wants to implement a different strategy, which is to grow the network, you know, to lower the entry barrier and grow the network more. So, I mean, we do have our strategy as a main development team to grow the network. At the same time, it goes beyond us, and it's a community decision.
Is there any other question? Let's see. I don't see any on Zoom. Yeah, I don't think there is any on Telegram. What about YouTube?
A question on Q&A, or maybe we already answered.
Yeah, there was a comment saying that yeah, that basically one of the use cases he is working on is like cross-chain flow for small transactions for 12-volt participants. Now, clearly, like the minimum fee may affect those use cases. So this is something on which we are, you know, interested to get feedback on. So if you guys see some use cases that are not well covered by the fee structure, you know, it's something that is completely, you know, that can be changed, and it's really up to the community. So if you guys think the fee should, the pricing should work differently, the forum.p.network is a good place where you can, you know, propose a different model. And when there are community votes, you know, initiated on the pNetwork DAO, there could be, you know, proposals to, you know, change that. Specifically right now, we have, the DAO has approved a model where the peg-in fee is 0 and the peg-out fee is 0.25%, so 25 basis points. Clearly, this is not sustainable for the medium to long term, just a solution for the short term. So I would expect just in a few months to see some proposals coming out saying, why don't we introduce the peg-in fee? Because this would instantly double the profitability for nodes, for instance. And I think this will happen because basically most of our competitors already do. And have a similar fee structure. So it's sort of expected that even in our case we do. The reason why probably, you know, the reason why we propose that structure and the community has approved it is that probably, you know, having this temporary subsidy for peg-ins sort of makes sense to, you know, encourage the growth of the total value locked without having to pay anything from the user side, without asking the user to pay anything. But again, this is not written in stone. This can be changed, and, you know, it's up to the community also to propose those changes. So there is a question asking on which blockchain the pNetwork DAO is moving next. And as I was saying earlier, the idea is to use pNetwork portals to basically enable the pNetwork DAO to go cross-chain. What does it mean? Well, that we keep the treasury, most likely on Ethereum, and we will move different components of the DAO on different blockchains. So one example could be Polygon and BSC, so that users can transact, you know, directly from blockchains where transaction fees are really low, and they don't need to, you know, pay high gas fees on Ethereum. They can still, you know, participate to the same DAO cross-chain. Of course, it could be made available on any blockchain. It's not restricted to Ethereum like models. It can be used, for example, on EOS or on Telos or on other chains that we're going to integrate with. But that said, these are all efforts. So it's not that it takes 1 day to make one of those integrations. So it's important that, you know, we integrate where we think there will be some demand and adoption. So we would like to hear from the community what they think, where they would like to operate from. So, you know, if no one, for example, asks to, you know, vote from the DAO from, you know, Ethereum, and everyone just asks the same question, we can just move the entire DAO away from Ethereum. Or if no one asks to integrate with EOS, I don't know, then we don't have to integrate, you know, a part of the DAO there. It's just a proposal. It's something that is made possible by portals, and that we can do also to showcase, you know, to our users, but especially to the outside world, to the rest of the ecosystem, what can be achieved and why the pNetwork is unique in enabling, you know, something like the pNetwork DAO to be split across different blockchains. So maybe, you know, they adopt it as well if they see that the model works well. So there is no specific answer to that. I will say that it depends on what you guys want to see. I mean, if you think that the pNetwork DAO should be made available on BSC or on Polygon, which is like both of these are quite frequent like questions, then we'll make those available first. Great. Let's see if there is one last question, because we have run out of time. Alice, are you monitoring YouTube by chance? Because I don't have it at hand. I don't know if there are questions there.
I was, but I just closed it. Let me check. On Telegram, I see there is no additional questions, so just a sec.
Yeah, we are out of time in any case. So if there is no question on YouTube, I think we can terminate the call. Yeah, let's see. Cool. Okay, so
no additional questions.
Great. So thanks, Zaire, for the words of appreciation. Yeah, I cannot spell it. Anyway, thank you, and thanks everyone who joined the call and who asked questions or that was just here to listen. And yeah, we'll do more community calls in the future. In the meantime, you can follow our daily updates mostly on Twitter. And on the announcement channel on Telegram, or if you have more time to dedicate to the project, on the main channel on Telegram, where you can follow all kind of conversation around the project. Thanks everyone, and see you around. Bye.